Hey snacks, it's Lala! Welcome to Snack Size. I'm back and feeling more fabulous than ever. I am thrilled to be here sharing this wonderful space with you, and I'm ready to take you on an exciting journey towards finding your passion and following your dreams. Life can be a whirlwind, but here on Snack Size, we take a moment to savor the sweetness of our passions and the spice of our unique journeys. So whether you're discovering new interests, setting bold goals, or just looking for a dash of inspiration, know that every moment is worth celebrating and every dream is within reach. So grab a snack and get comfortable, because we're about to dive into another fabulous episode where we celebrate the beauty of being unapologetically you. Our time together starts now. Hey, snack! Whether you are returning to this show or it is your first time here with me, I want to say welcome to Snack Size the podcast. This is a podcast where we explore what it means to live a happy and fulfilled life and following your dreams and just being fabulous. So we have delicious conversations with some of the most fascinating people that I know, and hopefully along the way we help each other learn and grow. If you haven't met me before, my name is Lala, and I am a drag queen based out of the Twin Cities. And today, for my grand return, baby, to podcasting, I have a truly special treat for you. We are going to be joined by the one and only Pandora Boxx, and she's here to talk about her brand new album called Boxx. We know Pandora from RuPaul's Drag Race, and we loved her on All Stars as well. But I am so excited to dive into the creative mind of this drag superstar as we explore her inspiration and the process and the passion behind this latest album. So, without further ado, let's give her a call. Pandora, welcome to Snack Size.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And I have been listening to Boxx, and it is a super fun album. I've been grooving at work, I've been listening on my walks at the grocery store, and I am just so excited to talk with you about it today.
Oh, thank you. That makes me happy, especially that you're dancing to it, because I wanted to make something that was fun and danceable.
Yeah, the album is super fun and super danceable, and I know I've enjoyed the whole thing, but I want to know, do you have a favorite song on the album?
It's kind of hard to pick a favorite one, but I mean, I do like dance because that's why I made a music video for it. And, but I do like Pill because if you listen, there's deeper lyrics than you might initially think. But it also mixes in references Alice in Wonderland but still fun. Like you can still just kind of dance to it if you want.
I think the album does such a great job of showcasing who you are as a person and as an entertainer. And for me, I know that you have been a part of my drag consciousness since I started doing drag. So to get to talk with you about something that is definitely one of your more personal works is such an honor, because I understand that you wrote the songs in the album, right?
I wrote all the lyrics to the album, and then I had, there's two different producers. Electropoint did 2 songs on it, and then my friend Brandon James Glynn did the other 8 songs.
A queen always needs her team, right?
Yes, because I can write lyrics, but I don't really know how to write music, so. But I can get kind of like a vibe of what I'm looking for.
Awesome. So with this album being a little bit more up close and personal with the lyrics and things, what inspired you to dive into your personal experiences for this album?
Well, the songs I've done before were about penis and cooter and poop and which, they're fun. They were fun to do. And I don't know. I just coming from All Star 6 and the Girl Group Challenge, and I wasn't really happy with how my lyrics eventually turned out or my performance of it, because you're kind of under a big pressure you only get 20 minutes or something to record your lyrics. And it wasn't working for me. So I had the idea that I wanted to come out with a song to kind of, like a redo, like a do-over. And then I thought, maybe I can do an album. And then I said, well, I don't have the money to do it, but if I do a Kickstarter, maybe people will support it. And so then I did a Kickstarter and it got funded within 3 days. So that was really incredible. And so I decided to go on this journey and a cathartic journey.
Oh, wow. So you're a self-produced artist then?
Yeah, completely. It was me and my friend Brandon, actually. He's the one that really pushed me, or more not encouraged me. I wrote Pill. That was the first one I wrote, and gave him the lyrics. And he was like, "You're a really good lyricist." And I said, "That's it. You complimented me. I'm good." But it was good because he said sometimes it's a struggle when you're working with somebody to kind of go back, and he didn't really have any changes on the lyrics, and he just kind of came back with music to go with it. And I was like, this is great. Let's do more.
I am so inspired right now. As my listeners know, I write poetry, and I kind of always thought that I could maybe write lyrics, but I am not musically inclined at all. So maybe one day music is something I can do.
Yeah, if you find somebody that, because we get along really well and we worked really well together. But yeah, if you can write the lyrics, and even if you have some kind of beat in mind, but you can find someone to do the music for you.
So in writing the lyrics for this whole album, talk to me about what your songwriting process is like.
Well, there's a different process for each thing, I guess. Sometimes I just get ideas in my car and then I have to do a voice memo and record it, or, write things down when things come to me. But when we were really sitting down to do the album, because I was like, okay, I really have to do this because time keeps passing and we both keep getting busy, and I'm gonna it keeps getting sidetracked. Because I have to work and make money.
I know that's right.
And so I did set several hours aside at night to write lyrics, and I'd have a couple cocktails and I'd be like, all right, let it all out, let the emotions pour out. And then I listened to a lot of Robin and Sia, because they're amazing songwriters, but they write about really depressing things, but they make them into dancey, fun songs. And that's kind of what I want to do.
I think that's maybe why the album resonates with me and maybe even people in my age group, because we're at that point in life where we've grown up and we've had life experiences. And sometimes those life experiences are hard, but I also know we're a generation that has had a lot of fun. And we've watched media icons like you and others have a lot of fun. And so what I love about the album is that it definitely offers that, yes, let's dance, let's turn up, but it also has a lot of depth. And I'm sure that was very intentional in the way you put the album together.
Yeah, it was. Because I just didn't want to do a whole song of comedy songs. And I've thought about doing an album for a while, and a couple times it seemed like it was going to happen and it didn't happen. But I just kind of I wanted some of the songs to have a little more meaning to them, because, I'm getting older and I think about mortality a lot. And I don't know, I wanted to leave something behind that was a little meaningful and not about some of the other things I've done songs about. But also fun. I wanted the album still to be fun.
Yes, and I definitely wanted to talk about that a little bit more. In some other interviews, you've said that you have a connection with the songs Pill and Stars. Talk to us a little bit more about why you feel particularly connected to those songs on the album.
Pill is, sometimes I can go into a bitter headspace, and when I was younger, I took attempts on my life, and it was with pills. And so it was kind of about that a little bit, and struggling with myself and trying not to be bitter. And then using the escape of Alice in Wonderland, where, there's always the thing, was Alice just on drugs when she went to Wonderland? And, you know, like the song White Rabbit, I've always loved. And so I wanted to do something that meant something and kind of was like an escape, like Alice in Wonderland is all about an escape. And was it real? Was it in her imagination? And so it's kind of like me escaping into my imagination. And then with Stars, I mean, that's just really about Star Trek. Because I really love Star Trek. I was like, I want to make a song about Star Trek. And Brandon didn't know anything really about, like, he knows a little bit about Star Trek, but I know a lot about Star Trek. So I was like, and then I said to him, I'm like, I think am I putting too many references to Star Trek? He's like, no, I think it should just be more.
I don't know much about Star Trek, but I do know that Star Trek fans love a good Star Trek reference, so I am so sure they're going to absolutely love that song.
Yeah, I hope so.
And since we're talking about songs on the album, we have to talk about Dance, which is the first single from the album. You dedicated the song to your younger self, and I want to know, how does that song represent your journey and the message you want to send to your fans?
Well, I think it's just, the message is really, I mean, it's in the lyrics, and it's like the saying, dance like nobody's watched, like dance like no one's watching. And it really is about celebrating yourself and loving yourself, and just, you know, if you're having a bad day, just play music and dance around and shake it off, as Taylor Swift would say. Yeah, and I wish that you know, that little boy that felt lost and alone and playing Madonna in his room. It's kind of like my song. Like, if I could go back, I would say, hey, it'll be okay. I don't want to say it gets better, because that's a blanket statement, which is great, but it's a lot of work. So it's not an easy road, but.
It's funny. I was talking to a friend about being in the closet versus being out of the closet. And I said, it's not necessarily easier. It's just a different set of issues. And I think that life can be the same way sometimes, you know? Things may or may not get easier, but the more you are true to yourself and consistently are coming into your own, it does feel better along the way.
Yeah, I think being true to yourself is really, really important, and loving yourself for sure, or even just liking yourself. just like yourself occasionally, or give yourself a compliment, and be kind to yourself. That's a huge thing that I have been learning, is I treat myself really badly.
How so?
Well, just in my mind, I'm very hard on myself, and not all the time, but it happens a lot. And it's through therapy. I've been talking about it, and it's like, I would never treat my friends like this.
Yeah.
So why would I say these things to myself? That inner monologue sometimes can be cruel, but it's, I've learned that it's a protection method when I was feeling alone. And so, you know, me cocooning or hiding from everything, that's what that voice is trying to do, is trying to get me to say, oh no, everything's terrible and you're terrible, and just hide away from the world. So in a way, it's kind of protecting me, but it's just not a method that works anymore. So it's my constant, not struggle, but a constant process of retraining my thought patterns, or listening to them and go, thank you, goodbye.
Well, I think a lot of creative people have that challenge. I know that I have that challenge myself. As artists, our work is a mirror of who we are, and we're always more critical of ourselves than we are of others. So we end up being really critical of our work, and that can be a challenge for sure, but it also can be something that can make our work really great. So I want to ask you, what has worked for you, or what advice would you have for someone who wants to do what you're doing, or even a fraction of what you're doing, because it's a lot, but what would you tell them so that they can be successful as well?
I mean, the biggest thing is to not get caught up in what people think about, or what they're going to think about your work, which does stop me sometimes from doing things. And especially after like All-Star 6, and I kind of had a crash down moment where I was just like, ugh, just hate drag and I hate this whole thing. And I didn't want to start any new projects because it was just like, ugh, like I needed a break too. So it was good to take a break. And then I just had to think, hey, if I want to do it, I should just do it. And I shouldn't care what other people think. And maybe they'll like it, maybe they won't, but at least I did it. Because you never know. That's the biggest thing. You never know. And if nobody listened to the album, fine. I am happy with it. And hopefully they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping that people get into it and spread the word. And, it's like a grassroots type of movement where, I don't have, like what do they call them? Record company, record label. See, I don't even know what it's called. How can I get one if I don't even know it?
Honestly, I get it. And I am definitely also a very much self-produced person myself. But one thing I can say about my work is that either I did it or I directed it. And at the end of the day, what that means is my heart and soul is in everything I do. And that's the best thing I can say about my work. But also, that's really what I love about the album Boxx. And I know that because of that, it's going to resonate with so many different people. Now, you've had a really long drag career. It's been about 19 years performing in drag?
Well, no, it's longer. Yeah, I don't need to say the number because, it's been I've been doing drag since I was 19. So if anyone wants to go and figure out the math, that's how long I've been doing it.
Okay. I know you have changed a lot over the years, especially since you've appeared on RuPaul's Drag Race. How would you say you've grown personally and professionally over the years, and how is that reflected in this album?
Well, I think when I started out, it was just for fun. So I didn't even get paid at first for a while. And
I'm so glad you said that because I want everyone to know that that truly is how it goes for most drag queens, okay? You have to really, really love this art to stay in it.
Yeah, and especially drag queens starting out, you can't come in with an attitude and demand all this money and you've never performed before. That's not how it works. And that's really not how it works in any kind of entertainment industry. You don't just walk in and say, pay me. No. So, and then I had fun, but I don't know, like I went through this bad breakup, with this guy that was an asshole. And he didn't drink, so I didn't drink. It's just, I was kind of like a sponge, like whoever I was around, that's who I acted more like when I was, and I didn't realize that till later in life that I was like, oh, I really was like in my 20s kind of like that. I didn't really know exactly who I was. And so after that, I was like, I'm just gonna be a slut. And so Pandora had a big slutty phase where it was just like, I want to be like that hot girl, but that hot girl that you can go home with. Cause she's ready. But I always did comedy too. But when I went on Drag Race, I just thought that comedy was my angle to get me on the show. Cause I knew I was older than all the queens auditioning. And I was like, no, I think I got it. I think that comedy is my avenue. Which is great. I love to make people laugh. But then there's that pressure where it's just like, oh my God, now I always have to be funny. Shit. And I mean, one of the songs in the album, Laugh, is about that. So yeah, it's been like comedy. And then I realized early on too, after Drag Race hit, that I needed to do more than just shows and just lip syncing which there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm not knocking that, but I realized that I would get more jobs and more work if I did things. And so I put together a one-woman show and did some music and wrote a play. Well, actually I wrote the play before Drag Race, but so I was trying to find other avenues to do to kind of give some longevity to this career of mine.
I love that you've tried so many things over your career, and it really sounds like you're ready to also maybe try some new things. So what's next for Pandora Boxx?
I don't know. I feel like Britney Spears, I'm at a crossroads.
It's the Britney Spears for me.
I'm really kind of like thinking, okay, what is my next project? What do I want to do next? I really would love to do more acting or more behind the scenes. And I'm really, really trying to force myself to write more because I feel like that's really a good avenue for me to write.
You're really good at it, honestly.
Thanks. Thank you. To write scripts and stuff and to write these ideas that have been rattling around in my brain for a long time and really like, I have realized I have to sit down. I have to schedule time and go, this is when you're writing. You just have to write something, no matter what it is. Just write a little piece, just anything. Just write, writing sucks. Done. We're good for the night.
That's actually the same advice I give to my drag kids, and it doesn't have to apply to just drag. It can apply to anything, but you should work on something every day, even if it's just 5 minutes, because that 5 minutes over time adds up and it will get you where you want to go, which is so much better than not doing anything at all or circling around what you want to do and never really getting there. So I think that's a great plan. And I'm really, really looking forward to more of your writing and things like that.
Thank you. Yeah, I just have to, like, because once I'm in the zone of writing, I really enjoy it. And I've written since I was a kid. I used to be like painfully shy. And so my mother would often say, if you can't say it, just write it down. And so writing is in my blood, but it's also, I procrastinate, and it is that, it's still that voice like, well, what if nobody likes it? Or what if it isn't good? And I also have to remind myself, you can rewrite it. Like you can go back and like change things and edit.
And we live for a good edit, baby.
Okay.
So in thinking about the album as a whole, what is it you want listeners to take away from listening to Boxx?
Well, I guess me as an artist, I hope they just enjoy the album and like the album and maybe, you know, think, oh, wow, she can do songs that aren't about dick. And that, yeah, and I want people, I mean, first and foremost, I want people to have fun listening to it and maybe make them smile and have a good day. And then with some of the lyrics, maybe just feel not so alone and that other people go through struggles. And I know that for me, music has always been an important part of my life, not just because I lip sync songs, but also music has helped me and it's made me feel certain ways. And so I hope that it makes people feel a certain way, like in a good way.
This has been an amazing conversation, and I'm so thankful that you were able to be so open about your life and this experience of creating this album. So I want to ask you a question I ask most of my guests. What, in your opinion, do you feel makes a happy and fulfilled life?
Well, I'm still figuring that out completely. And I also think that the big key is that you're not going to be happy every moment of every day. Like we have different emotions for different reasons. And I think we're kind of meant to feel them. And as someone that struggled with depression my whole life, that I'm learning better ways to cope with it. And sometimes it's like, if I feel like crying, I just say, well, cry, girl, just cry. And then if it's longer than maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, I'm like, okay, girl, enough. It's good. We got it out, felt that, and move on. And I think that's key, is just kind of let ride the emotions sometimes. And another big thing is just surround yourself by good people, that want good things for you, that have those friendships where there's no effort into the friendship. The only effort is to like find time to hang out. Like that's what a friendship should be. And that's what people around you should be. It shouldn't be like a one-sided effort. It shouldn't be a struggle. Like maybe you're going to argue, of course, that's life, and people should argue. But there's a way to argue, you know, to argue in a constructive
respectful
manner.
And constructive way.
Yeah. So I guess those are my like things that I've been thinking. And also it's like, I try to focus on what I have instead of what I don't have,
that's so important.
Yeah. It's been a big switch for me. And it's also it's difficult sometimes. It's also difficult with drag and drag race because you can't escape drag race right now. It's everywhere. And you kind of like, you know, well, why does she get this? And why did they get that? And I have to stop myself from feeling that because it's not my journey. It's not my life. And I have lots of things to be appreciative for. So I have to focus on that.
I definitely can understand how you feel, but to me, you are an icon when it comes to drag. I'm sure that for myself and for many others, you have definitely made your mark, and I'm so excited for you and all the things that you've done, are going to do, and especially this new album. It's really, really, really exciting.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Latrice Royale was at my house and we were talking about Drag Race because inevitably we talk a little bit about it. But she asked me if I was okay, if I was going through it. Because there's always like a couple months where everything's slow. And I was like, no, you missed that part of me, like going through it. You're at a good point. She's like, okay. And I said, I kind of realized too that if we look at Drag Race, like the Marvel universe, that like Latrice and I are legacy characters. And she was like, baby, I like that. that's my, I have to do my Latrice voice once at least. But yeah, and I was like, I started to go and just be like, yeah, I mean, I was one of the original seasons and I have to acknowledge that and accept that and be proud of it.
Absolutely. Now, I think that everyone that listens to this podcast is going to know who you are, but just in case this is their first Pandora Boxx experience, where can people follow you and stay up to date on all of your projects?
Well, if you don't know me, I am Pandora Boxx, and I am a 3-time non-winner of RuPaul's Drag Race. And you can find me at Pandora Boxx, and there's 2 X's in box because the extra X marks the spot. And that's where everything's at. Yeah. I'm pretty easy to find, though, if you Google me, but you have to spell it with 2 X's. Not 3, because if you do 3, a whole different realm is going to come up.
We don't know what's going to come up if you type 3 X's. So we here at Pandora Boxx and Snack Size are not responsible if you decide to type 3 X's. Okay.
Yes.
Pandora, thank you so much for stopping by Snack Size. Thank you for sharing so much. And I just can't say it enough. I'm so excited for you. And it was an honor to talk to you.
Oh, thank you. Well, it was lovely to talk to you.
All right, Snacks. And with that, be safe, love one another, and go be fabulous. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Snack Size, the podcast. But if you're still feeling a little hungry, then head on over to snacksizepod.com and feast on all your favorite episodes. While you're there, follow me on social media. I love to stay connected. Until next time, keep it tasty. And remember, you are always the flavor of the day.